Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Canyon. Welcome back to something that is almost in the realm of It's All content, but there is a playlist specifically devoted to the Ottsix Wizard. So, this is more of that Ottsix Wizard content. This is Madam Mim. This was the Ottsix Wizard that I bought as soon, the instant that I saw the pre-order was available, I ordered one because I said, $500? Are you out of your mind? And I built it and we had a great time. And then I kind of began the process of transforming it into the way I like it. So the shocks are on a different vehicle. The tires, it comes with the ComSpec Golds, Carolina ComSpec Golds, with halo inserts. Still here in the bag with halo inserts still in the bag. I had found that even after adding some weight, we've got brass knuckles and the inners for the bead locks. Look at that gorgeousness. That is the sum total of the added weight. Even after adding weight, something about the way this is, I don't think it generates the ground pressure that this tire likes. Because I have these fitted to another vehicle, they're fantastic. When I did the tire test on, I gotta stop putting them out of frame. When I did the tire test on those, they did amazingly. One of the highest scoring 1.9 inch tires that we have tested. They did wonderfully, but I don't really feel like they match this, at least not on the terrain that I drive and the way that I drive. So, Madam Mim, set up as a mullet, which is portal rear, straight axle front, secure 120 amp. It's got the secure 3625 1800 kV. My favorite 3S direct servo all time, the AGFRC SA75 CVSW. The perhaps, potentially, possibly the perfect 3S servo. And I've gone to fancy wheel faces, but these are still the Ottsix bead locks that come with the vehicle. Custom hewn Traxxas GTS shocks built entirely up from parts. Once I found out they have black anodized GTS, I said, I don't need them, but I want them, therefore I shall have them. So then came the product of a live stream build, the stablemate. This is, we have a contributor to the Canyon. Sometimes he's sitting in a chair right down here at the end of the main workbench. The blind guy, this is the blind guy's Wizard. It is set up quite similarly, secure 120, another AGFRC, but this is the A75 BUMW, and underneath is a Rhino S20 1450 kV, because this vehicle is set up from the go to run 4S. So we've got a 3S gal and a 4S guy. Servo outputs are basically equivalent, only one on 3S and one on 4S. Here we've got the Upgrade RC rock claws fitted with the Upgrade RC dual state inserts, because they have shown some degree of promise as we've moved them from vehicle to vehicle. And while they did remarkably well, another of the highest scoring and another of the highest scoring 1.9 tires, I mean, you figure if you're going to go in, you go all in. So we have similar setups, and they are here today for a semi-singular reason. I realize, here's what I need to do. I need to frame this right like this. I need to take the thumbnail because I don't want to give away the surprise. So I need to set that here, and looks right about like that. There's your there's your thumbnail. You probably saw it when you clicked through into the video. The body that comes with the vehicle, I think they call it the TYT10. It's perfectly serviceable. And in terms of cabs, it is actually thicker in the back wall than most bodies. Certainly thicker than the two bodies that I had just painted, one for this one and one for this one. The Canyon enjoys the 1 hour paint job. This was certainly painted in less than an hour. I painted it silver and then backed it in black. There's some little tape to reinforce it. I did a little grill work there, and that's it. So I determinedly make an effort to not throw too much time into paint jobs, because they either come out something to surprise you, or you go, well, you know, I painted it in 20 minutes. It's fine. Bodies to me are very utilitarian. Having said that, allow me to contradict myself. This body seems too short. When you put it on the vehicle, it just barely covers the transfer case in the back. So despite having a 313 millimeter wheelbase, when you see it out rolling out in the wild, it looks really, really long in the back and really short in the front. There's nothing actually wrong with the body. I just consider it to be a free body because it was included. And when I began the process of building Wizard 2, I told the gentleman, the blind guy, that I was not going to put the TYT10 on it because I had already done that, and I planned on changing that one out anyway. So we might as well leave that body aside. It will certainly get used. This one will all but certainly get repurposed and put onto something else. I've done the thing where what we call build to a body. So I will make a way to line those existing body holes up to something else, or in the spirit of building things out of bits and bobs, I will just drill more holes in it. I mean, it's proper 16th 060, which is 1.5 millimeter, if my memory serves correctly, thick Lexan, which is great. I just don't really like the aesthetic of it. And if we're going to customize things out to make them fit the way we want them, we're going to mount the body that we want. So I did a twofer. I simultaneously painted two bodies, one for Madam Mim, who is this one, and one for this gentleman, whose name we'll get to in a second. And this is the nearly impossible to get at all times J Concepts anvil. It sits quite low, does it not? I was kind of trying to evoke the spirit of vehicle here, Jake the Snake, who has a very snake-like paint job. And I was going for that like multi-depth kind of green. I think I got it sort of. I still haven't seen it outdoors to see how it looks outdoors, and that is indeed my thumbprint. Because, cautionary tale, I've been using the Traxxas as backer because it lays down super matte, like super matte. And I like that. And I did not wait long enough for it to dry. And I picked up the body and I went like this, and the whole paint just... You can actually see the ridge. You can see the ridge of my thumb where all the layers of paint slid over. So if I had taken my time, it really does have a color shift. It does change colors of green kind of nicely. I was looking for something lizardy, and it came out that way. This cab sits further forward, which doesn't make any sense, right? Because we're talking about a difference in length of a good inch. It sits much different. It sits lower because there's a lot lower cab height. Like there are the holes. We've got, I don't know, 8 or 10 millimeters lower. It hangs down lower. It has, of course, much less grill in the front. So to fit it as easily as possible, I just omitted, there's little guys. There's little guys right here. These little guys. I omitted those guys because they put the pin too far forward. So I omitted those guys and just bolted them on like that. The front ones did not have to move. They lined up pretty much perfectly. Body sits down. It's got the short grill thing. I don't know how I feel about the short grill thing. I would prefer some kind of a little thing out here on the front, but I don't just want to throw extra weight at it. So for now, we've got a little breakover clearance on the bottom. It sits for me perfectly fine. Madam Mim, this suits the build. It is kind of what I was looking for. It's not a surprise to see J-concepts get thrown at something that I build because I love J-concepts, the bodies and the tires. So then we got to this one. The blind guy was sitting down at the end of the bench following a recent live stream, and he said, what's a body that we haven't done? And I was like, geez, it's getting short. I was like, you could get like an Element Trail Walker, or we still haven't done a Sendero Cab. There's a couple that we haven't done. We've done, I think, aside from the newly released Lloyd 2 from J-Concepts, which is definitely up at the top of my hierarchy of ugliest bodies you can buy. Go look at the side image of that thing. It is... wow, is what it is. It is really wow. So when I told him that, he began browsing through the selections at A-Main, and I'm sure some of you are now saying, no, 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 no. No, yes. No, but yes. What is a body you haven't done, he said. And I said, well, we haven't done that body from Reefs. And he looked it up, and we call him the blind guy because he is blind, but he can see. He's not completely blind. He has 0 visual acuity in his right eye, and he has about 50% visual acuity in his left eye, but it is also not impaired. Like, he has like 20/30 vision in his left eye. Just, he sees in a narrow strip. He can see enough to know when something is ugly. So easily in the top 5 of ugliest bodies you can get is the one made by these guys. Yes, it's happening right here and now. He chose the paint scheme. I executed it. I think it came out as terribly as one could imagine. It really, it kind of looks like a big toe, I think is what it is. Like if you painted like a semicircle on the front, you could make a toenail on the front of it and just make it look like a big toe. But while it looks like a big toe, it does fit the chassis pretty well. Well, it does and it doesn't. It almost seems like there was some deliberate behaviors from one company or another, because the front body mounts are right in the middle of these little fellas. So we got around that. Something was quite fortuitous, which was I removed these little guys from Madam Mim, and then I just dremeled a slot into them and I mounted them right there, and look at that! Look at that! So you've got this guy right here. You've got Canyon Wizard number 2, fitted with a Reefs Plague, or, as it is referred to here, only partially tonguely and cheekily, the Nurgle. We refer to this as the Nurgle just because it looks like a Nurgle. Well, it kind of looks like a big toe. And let's call it out for what it is. Around here, somewhere on this bench, I guarantee, are the rear fenders that come with a Nurgle. And this is how it comes. You get these two things. You get a sheet of masks. You get a pre-trimmed body. And you get this decal sheet. Which efforts were made, but they could have been made different. We've got little stickers that are shaped like this part on the hood. And there's a little part between the rear windows, which is similarly shaped. But why would you mask that if you're just going to, like, I guess you could make a taillight out of it. I guess if you, like, put that one on there, you could make a taillight out of it. I don't know. They give you no mechanism to attach these at all. And it should probably, could I have mounted it further back? I could have mounted it about, I don't know, 6-7 millimeters further back if I had done some fabrication, but in order for this to line up with the tire, it would have to be mounted about 25 millimeters further back, because this body is listed as 313 wheelbase. This vehicle has a 313 wheelbase, but that doesn't really matter because there's the little, you see the dimples? They give you no mechanism to attach these to anything in any way. So you can either figure it out or you can just put them off to the side, because we were just going to run it as a cab anyway. I have, it popped into my head. This is the Lich, because it's an undead wizard now. And, pro tip, if you want to take only one thing away from this, probably don't put a plague on your wizard. It looks insane. It looks insane. I could have mounted it probably right there. Would that have made a big difference? I don't think so. I don't think so. It is what it is, and it's going to run the way it's going to run. Decisions were made on the fly, but pro tip, if you want to make your windows look cool, I just figured this out right at the end. You use this is the green anodized translucent from Spastics. Look how good that looks. Like, it looks better than just the plain clear. Plain clear is kind of boring. I've got clear gold. I might do those windows in clear gold. So this was what he stated that he wanted for the paint job. It's pox. It's got pox on it. It's got a plague on it. Plague on a plague. Dots on a Nurgle. It's the Lich. And it is undriven. It has not touched the ground. It has maneuvered around on the bench a little bit. But we're going to take it out there, and we're going to drive it around. It is completely stock configuration. Shocks, springs, link positions, everything. But it is set up for 4S. I like when you have the brass inner. You can see the brass through the holes. It's good. It's good looking. Maybe not if you have that, what is it? Trichophobia, if you don't like holes, if you don't like to look at holes, because I guess you're looking at holes now. And I did make some effort. It is not an accident. I was trying to make it kind of flesh colored, and yeesh, I feel like I got too close. There is so many colors to get that the way it is. More than was necessary. There's more colors than necessary on that as well. Probably 10 colors on each one. And I was painting too fast and not giving coats enough time to dry. Because, you know, I had to get 2 bodies done in under an hour. So, we're going to take out the Lich. And we're going to see how it does. Because we skipped all the steps. We assembled it during a live stream, but I had already gone through the whole build process of building a wizard. So when we built this one, it got the knuckle weights straight away. It got the little tweaks that we knew to make straight away. It got set up for 4S straight away. We've got all the parts here. Ultimately, this one will be as a mullet as well. They will both be mullet. And they will be very remarkably similar. And that is not something that we generally do here. He'll probably end up putting Dravtex on it because he loves Dravtex. We will see where it goes. I really mostly just want to see this in the sun, and I want to see how it does on the rock claws, because I made an educated guess on fitting the rock claws. There's only one real way to find out if I guessed correctly. The drive back has informed me audibly that while fitting the body, I definitely cut one fender well back further than the other. And the other one doesn't do it at all. It's a matter of millimeters. I want to say that this is the first instance of running a Rhino S20 with a secure 120. It has a level of drag brake that is, it feels almost unnecessary. I don't think that I would ever describe a situation of drag brake as too much drag brake, but you can grab the rear wheels and pick the vehicle up and it will just stay level. Well, we also have a lot of mechanical advantage. 10-tooth pinion. And the 4S. Oh, you know what my favorite thing is? Look on the rock right there. The light coming through the windows is green. This is the thing about the Nurgle. You'd never really know, honestly. Yeah, whatever the actual final underdrive overdrive split is on the Wizard, It's more than I like, typically. Running in excess of 30% here is something that does not happen often. It is few and far between. Yeah, just on the leading edge, right there on that fender. But I am happy to report that I think the tire choice was a good one. Yeah, just on that one side, which is easily fixable. These are indeed Madame Mim's shocks. I just rebuilt them and threw them on here. And you know what? Pretty much doing great. I personally like a bit more travel, but this is doing fine. Madame Mim on early runs looked like a skateboard because the shocks truly do take a while to break in. Getting some nice wrinkle out of those millimeter thick sidewalls. Yeah, that's what I like. That front is doing a lot of work. It's staying really flat. Hit it a little further over. Oh, that's great. And I can say comfortably that, so this on the straight axles, and Madame Mim, we did a portal test, and I kind of got the idea that I don't care for it in portal. I would say straight is right in the middle, which is where we are now. Mullet is the primary preference, and then portal I preferred the least. This is pretty good on the straights. See if there's a cutaway here. No. Got to check the endpoints. I think I might be able to get that turning circle a little tighter. Let's see, these have enough to claw up right here. No pun intended. Very good. Very good. Want to grab that edge, get that belly off. Yeah. Absolutely solid. So, me not liking the every time we get iterative, you know? So, view them as split personalities, the two sides of a coin. Never tried this combination. Did not try the rock claw with straight axles with the kit shocks. Madame Mim might have gone in a completely different direction. But this is kind of the luxury, the undeniable luxury of having more than one. We can make changes and compare them directly. And once we kind of start to get this setup adjusted, because I mean at this point I don't even know how much adjustment there will need be, how much there will be. Once we make those adjustments, we can do that. We can get additionally iterative. Yeah, it's not lifting like it was before. So, I mean, I'll say this. One of the biggest parts of setting a rig up is tuning it to you. Terrain is really secondary. Tuning it to the way you drive it. You want it to behave the way you want it to behave. Might get our first Thought we were going to get our first tumble there. No, it's doing surprisingly well. And I will say that all straight versus the mullet, the all straight does descend better. Well, I mean, the rear is lower, so I don't think I don't think this comes as a surprise to anyone. All straight will descend better than a portal as well. Lower CG is lower. Yeah, that front end wants to stay down. Trying to get the spot. It feels super stable right here. Oh, oh. Stuck it. But this is basically out of the box. It does have the advantages. It's got brass rings in the wheels. It's got knuckle weights in the front. It's got shocks that have been, have to have 6-7 battery packs through them at this point, so they've started to cycle in a little better. Tires that have been tested, we're going straight onto dual stages. There are advantages. And all the torque one could possibly want. Oof. Oh, no. It did occur to me that I was seated such that I couldn't see the center cut or this side at all. So we'll move over here. While mullet is still my preference here, it's really good on the straights. Grab that edge, grab that edge. There's just a little bit of, I don't even know. I can't identify what is causing, the rear's a little floaty almost. So when I get it to the spot where I like, we get a little bind on the belly. And I am never married to a tire. The tire that is selected and the tire that becomes permanent is the tire that does as many of the things as possible. It seems unfair to ask a tire to do every single individual thing. And we are definitely too early into the process, far too early into the process to even consider a tire change. I was basically through the shock and break-in period. There was probably 5 or 6 packs run through Madam Mim before I was like, you know what? Probably megalithics. And that is part of the reason, that definitely contributed to why there aren't megalithics on here. Because if we throw megalithics on here, we're only going to get as far as we know we can get on megalithics. And even when I swap to the megalithics, it's on its 3rd or 4th iteration of insert. Where the Wizard shines for me is that in its stock configuration, it is so receptive to tuning and modification. I'm still having that feeling where I feel like it's too much underdrive / overdrive. That is a very easy fix. Oh, I see the body. I see the hanging up on the body right there. So this is kind of in place of a ghost ride. I didn't see a point in coming out here and ghost riding something we already have. It's not doing anything egregiously bad. Might have to trim the rocker on that body a little bit. Just trim it up just a little. And the rock claw is a little hesitant. I haven't scaled it. I haven't done any of that. So there's every possibility that the dual stage a little too firm. We might end up with a dual stage in the rear and a single stage in the front, or vice versa, or a Canyon custom of some variety in there. Maybe one halo in there and one dual stage. This is how it gets iterative. It can get iterative really fast. And I should also point out, one of the things that we're real fond of here is the Canyon change, which is where we just make as many changes as we can manage all at once. Because the way I see it, from what I have learned thus far, there is truly no such thing as making a singular change. You can change one thing. Say that you go up or down one rate in spring, or you go up or down a step in shock oil and how much damping you have. This is going to radiate out like the ripples in a pond, because the first component of the suspension is the tire itself. How supple is the tire? How open is the tire to conforming to the terrain? And then you're going to tune that conformity with the insert. And the insert is trying to get the tire to conform as much as you want it to conform, while also not allowing the tire to over collapse from the weight of the vehicle, whether that be from the static weight or the transfer of weight. And only later do we get to the damper, to the shock and the spring as functional components of the suspension, which also, when not moving, are only supporting the weight above the springs, the sprung weight. But during weight transfer, they're having to deal with significantly more or less weight. They might have no weight on them at all. So all the parts of the suspension are constantly working together to a degree of success or failure. So making any individual change, like this might be a thing of, because the way it's acting right here, right? Like I get a little hung up, and it feels like it's not translating the power. The power isn't being transmitted to the ground in the way that I want it. So what I do is I overanalyze. I say, why is that? Does it, and this is what I'm watching for. Here's a little insight into a mind of madness. When I'm watching it, I'm looking at what the tire is doing. Is it that the tire is not conforming at all? Am I not seeing the shoulder of the tire do what I want the shoulder of the tire to do? Am I seeing the tread flat down on the surface, but sliding? Like right there, that was excellent bite from the front end. So it's telling me that the front end is not overstuffed, as it were. It's not over firm. And now when I get right through here, I'm watching what is the rear doing. And with all that underdrive, the rear is trying to maneuver itself over into a position where it can do what it wants to do. And then right in there, there's a little hesitancy, but it's nothing like, it feels stuck to the ground. We've got some Velcro action. So I want to see basically more forward drive. I believe that we have enough stability that we can try to move. So this is most likely link position changes, length changes. We might mess with the rear pumpkin angle. We might mess with shock positions. There's all of these things that we have to get into. The Lich did better than Madam Mim first time on the rocks, but it has advantages. If you see the other guy go first, and then we go through weeks and weeks of iterations, we can start. We're not starting at the bottom. We're starting midway up the hill already. So the Lich certainly has advantages. And we hope to continue forward with, net some goods. We'd love to see a net some good every time. We don't foolhardily expect it. Look at that lift. Ooh. The platform is very good, and the quality is fantastic. It really is. I've said it before, I'll say it again right now. The instant that the individual axles are available, I'm ordering a front axle so fast I risk damage to my keyboard and or phone, whatever device I decide to order it on. I mean, it's really quite good, and it is most importantly receptive to tuning. I still give as much accolade as I can to the VRD Carbon, because out of the box, neutral positions for a mass market sold kit, nobody else is really close. But I don't consider the Wizard to be the same category of vehicle. This is different stuff. It's all machined. It's tremendous. Honestly, that toenail, that diseased toenail, I don't know, no pun intended, it's kind of growing on me. Maybe it's the green windows. Maybe I'm a sucker for the green windows. But you will definitely see more. The Lich will be going on the Wheels of Fate for selection into the cabs, our weekly Class 2 battle simulator. Oh, the Lich will be going on there for sure. And the Lich will go through its own iterations where we try changes and we compare it up against Madam Mim and we see how the Wizard goes. And we love the Wizard here. So much that there's two of them. And, I mean, I know I've said it, and I don't want to, like, I have no skin in this game. There's no affiliate to it. There's none of that stuff. I would buy it, and then I would buy it again, and when I get the axles, I will essentially be buying it again. I'll be putting those axles on something else under something else, because 3 of the exact same thing is not something that we specifically do here. But the Lich, certainly in my estimation, a solid first outing. And I'm going to be ordering, my next A-Main order is going to have a bunch more translucent Spastics paints in it. I got to get blue, I got to get red. We're going candy windows nearly fleet-wide. So I've had a good time and a good day. We did well. I feel like we did well. I hope you think that as well, that we did well. Thank you so much for being here with us today. I look forward to seeing you with us tomorrow, and in between now and then, please one and all do your very best. Have a good one, everybody. We'll see you again here from the Canyon. This is the beauty of the Wizard. It puts you so close to where you're getting into that micro-tuning almost as soon as you take it out of the box. Well, if you build a second one, you're really in that last 5% of tuning. This one is already in that last 5% of tuning. The Lich, brought to you by the Nurgle. It's pretty bad. It's not a Proline strike force, but nothing is a Proline strike force.